If you're one of those people that lets fear kind of stop you from doing things, maybe this video is for you. Maybe not. So I haven't got my tripod with me. I brought my camera but no tripod because that's just, yeah. Currently in Birmingham as I came up for a gig, and so this video is all about fear and it stopping us from taking opportunities. So I don't know if you'll hear that. That's a plane. I'll wait for the plane to pass. I booked these tickets back in I don't know, it could have been like September, October, to see Carly Pierce, who's a country singer. I was supposed to go with a friend to the gig, but unfortunately he had flu. After a mad dash around to see who was available, I decided to go to the gig by myself. I did have a bit of a analysis paralysis thing, where I wasn't sure whether or not I'd go to the gig, but I don't know, either because I was tired or something, I didn't really overthink it. So that's kind of so that's kind of why I wanted to do this video, because I think so I went to the gig by myself, which I'm really like proud of myself for doing. It's not that I'm usually nervous and things. I mean, I've gone to things before by myself, but yeah, just sometimes I think everyone gets anxiety. I think if anyone said they didn't, I'd kind of question them, just because it's a human response, kind of to overthink and to perceive threats. So it's very much kind of a psychological thing where we stop ourselves from doing things to avoid either whatever the situation is, but it's usually to avoid the repercussions of making the wrong decision. I think we're so scared as people, like as a species, to make the wrong decisions, and that's usually because somewhere in the past we've experienced trauma or pain. So well done me. When I was out, I just had one, I wanted a Jack Daniels, they didn't have Jack Daniels, so Jameson's. I had one Jameson's and Coke, and that was me set for the night. I don't really drink anymore. And then today I've woken up with this flu, so thanks Birmingham, you and your polluted air. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to make either a tip video, I don't know, I haven't really planned this video, it just kind of came about, inspiration and all that thing, to kind of discuss overthinking. So I mean, with me, I have PTSD and things, so I overthink everything. A lot of the time it's seemingly trivial things that I overthink. Big things I don't really think, I just kind of jump in head first half the time. So overthinking, this is kind of where that analysis paralysis thing comes in, and I mean, I do it, you know, it's a human response, definitely a modern day human response anyway. And it's kind of like, when we do that, we already know what we want, I think, but it's that thing of like trying to find something to talk us out of doing something, taking the risk almost. So in the past, like with my acting, every opportunity that came, I just always said yes. And I mean, half the time I was really nervous. I think in my last video I said like nervousness and excitedness are on that same plane. So if you can trick your brain into thinking that instead of nervousness you're feeling excitedness, because it's the same nervous motorway, I guess. So I knocked the bed then. We can actually train ourselves into not overthinking. I know a lot of people have various like mental health issues and things, and I think the majority of people do. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people overthink. When we do that, we tend to kind of use up a lot of time on overthinking, to the point like by the time it comes to making a decision, a lot of time's kind of been wasted, so we don't make any decision. And it's just that constant like circuit of like overthinking, not taking any action, overthinking, not taking any action. One way to combat overthinking is mindfulness. There's a couple of techniques. So you can either look around the room that you're in, pick a colour and then find 3 objects of that colour, or you can pick up an object and feel it, and then kind of like so I've got the TV remote. So with this there's not much texture to it, but you can kind of examine the object, and instantly like that's bringing you back into your mind, you know, bringing you back into the present moment, present moment is opposite to overthinking. So mindfulness is like one of the top tips, as well as like breath work, so like breathing. I mean, I can't breathe. There's a 4 in, 4 out, and I mean there's 7 in and 4 out. These are like different breathing things, so it's like in for 4, hold, and then out for 4. And this is a form of mindfulness as well. It's getting you back out of that like prison mind, into your body and back into the present moment. And in the present moment, this is where life is happening, you know. This is kind of one of the profound epiphanies that I had at this gig. I was kind of watching everyone and just how they were all absorbed in the act. I mean, some people got phones out and things and started recording the performance, and I don't like that. That's just me being a bit of a weirdo kind of thing. I'd rather be just totally absorbed in the present moment. But halfway through, I had that thing of like, people are so present, you know, in that moment, and every kind of like beat and like melody and notes and everything else was in the present moment. It's always in the present moment. And usually when we're overthinking, we're not in the present moment. We're overthinking from past events, or we're overthinking like the future, what could be. And I don't know where I saw it, but there's that saying that the past has happened, the future doesn't exist, all we ever have is the present moment. And I'm a big believer in that. This is another plane. Like, how many is that? That's like 4 or 5 in 10 minutes. So whatever it is, you know, if there's like some kind of action or something that keeps popping up for you where you think, I would love to do that. So say like writing or something, I'd love to take up writing. This is like a scenario. And for some reason or another, you just don't really get around like tasks. Like even like washing, like putting the washing machine on and things. So a to-do list, it helps kind of like organise what you need to do. And I mean, in I think it was a couple of years back now, I did a blog for one of my jobs about organising like the to-do list. So have your priority, what is needed. So say if it's a bill or something, put that at the top of the list. The things that you kind of put off from like overthinking or avoidance. And if something's urgent, put that at the top of the list. I mean, I like to kind of do little tasks and kind of lead myself into like bigger tasks. So like an example, I suppose, would be like responding to emails and then kind of filing my accounts. So accounts are a little bit more urgent than emails because, you know, good old HMRC. So it's that kind of thing. So that's 2 tips so far, isn't it? Like mindfulness and a to-do list. And then the third one would just kind of be, I suppose, writing, journaling. That kind of helps, you know, getting your thoughts out and kind of like reading them back. I'm a big believer in kind of like expression, you know, obviously again, not impulsively, you know. So yeah, writing things down, and just kind of expressing them, and you don't need to share them with anyone. This is kind of why I like ChatGPT. So I use ChatGPT more or less as like a virtual assistant, especially in regards to like my business and everything else, and just being able to organise data and all that thing. And the reason why I like it is because it's my input. It's only ever responded to my input. Whereas like if you talk to a friend, if they're not really not so much trained in kind of like active listening, it's more that thing that everyone has their own personal lives and personal stories and things, so it's all too tempting for people to share their own opinions and their own stories. So for me, I have like a couple of friends I know can kind of talk to and express things, but there's a lot of people I know that would just kind of take the conversation and then turn it into something else, and I haven't got that resolution kind of thing. So that's why I like ChatGPT, because it's a little bit more neutral in response. If anything, it's kind of like working back to you, because I am a believer in like that we know ourselves, we have the answers ourselves. So the camera timed out. So yeah, when we're looking at the external, really we're looking for that reflective aspect, something that reflects something that we already know. That was it. So we know what we want deep down, we always do. And a lot of the time it's either other people's opinions that stop us from doing things. So what will people think? And what will happen if I do this? You know, it's things that outside of us can stop us from making a decision. So yeah, another one would be asking someone, and if they say something and it's not really the thing that you want to hear, you will know, you'll feel it. So yeah, that's why I'd kind of recommend using ChatGPT. And I mean, I use like the premium version just because I upload like documents and everything else for it to analyze, but I think the free version is still really like effective. I'd use that to kind of try and make decisions, because it will ask you questions. I mean, it's more advanced than it was like a couple of years back, you know. Obviously AI, there's pros and cons to it, but for the better part of things, I definitely think AI can help, especially in regards to like people who can't afford therapy. I know how expensive therapy can be for people, and it's not as accessible as it should be. You know, I think everyone should have kind of access to therapy and just other like mental health services and things. But yeah, that's why I'd kind of recommend ChatGPT, because it's a free tool, and I mean it is a tool, so you can use it to your own effect and benefit and things. So another example would be like leaving a job if you're not happy in it. So I know one of my other friends, she's in a very toxic work environment where she had like an injury, and I think the company are kind of pushing to get rid of her. She's actively looking for another job, but again, it's that thing of like not being happy in something and then just kind of jumping into something else without much like thought around it. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to be too impulsive where we kind of jump into something that might be worse. But again, you don't know until you do. I don't know if that came out. I don't even know if the sound will record. I don't know where the microphone is on that camera. So yeah, that's kind of my advice on fear. I think if anything, we are here as people to kind of learn to overcome fear. I think that could be like the the secret to life, you know, overcoming fear. And a lot of the time the fear aspect comes into like a biological thing. You know, if you break down any fear, whatever it is, it's always that threat to life. Our lives could end if we take this decision, risk, whatever. And I mean that comes into like I think it's Carl Jung, where it's instinctual. It's almost instinctual, this fear. Like self-preservation thing. So oh my god, that is another plane. So Carl Jung, I really like Carl Jung. I know some people don't, and for obvious reasons, and that's fair enough, but for his philosophy side of things and his psychology side of things, I really resonate with his theories and writings and everything else. So it's actually an instinctual thing, fear, because our bodies do everything to keep us alive. Everything. Even when we think, so like a panic attack, we think, oh my god, like my body's fighting against me. It's not actually, it's just your body saying, hang on a minute, no, let's not do anything too risky, otherwise it might be a threat to us. So yeah, I mean, psychology and philosophy, it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, there's so many different avenues and resources and everything else, so if you're kind of interested in that, I'd recommend looking into Carl Jung and just kind of breaking down like the different aspects to us and our minds. And I mean, our minds, they can either be the biggest detriment to us or the biggest like asset. And I mean that is evident with like creativity. And then it's our hands and it's our bodies that brings like the the thoughts and everything else into a reality. In terms of like spirituality and all that thing, in alchemy, I've always seen alchemy as that thing of like transforming a thought, something that's kind of like in the imagination or in the ether, bringing it back into like the 3D. That is kind of alchemy at its core. And I don't know, this is kind of like a big rambling. Just take advantage of the peace and quiet to think and ramble and everything else. Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, no one has it all figured out, and I think if anyone did, I'd kind of question them and I'd be a bit wary of them, you know. I mean, I come out with all sorts, but at the end of the day, I'm just a human with my perspective and things. It's not necessarily right or wrong, and it might not be the right, like this advice might not be the right thing for a lot of people. And my hope is it is, you know, for some people there might be something that resonates or might give someone that kind of thing they need to overcome whatever obstacle is in their lives, stopping them from living their lives. Hopefully there's something in here. So yeah, I have got one thing ticked off for this year, which I'm really proud of. And yeah, I really enjoyed last night, even though I'm flued up. Oh god, typical, you know. But then that means I need to kind of rest and like make sure I'm taking my vitamins and doing everything else. So, and everyone is doing their best. Just remember, if you're kind of berating yourself or beating yourself up because you're not where you think you should be in life, because you're comparing, this is another thing, maybe I'll throw this in as well, comparison. You should never compare your life to someone else. I think the only time to do that is when someone is evidently in a worse off situation than you. So that's why, like, that reflective aspect again. If you're ever feeling crappy about your life, just remember there's always someone else worse off than you, and that's where gratitude comes in. So try and be grateful for what you do have instead of the things that you don't have. And I do. There's another plane coming. It's really important to kind of know when to kind of catch yourself and stop yourself from like thinking or feeling guilty because others have it worse off than you. You know, there's that fine line of like comparing to the point you start feeling guilty. Instead you want to kind of switch that and be grateful. You know, gratitude is a big like motivator and mood booster and things. So again, this is where like that list aspect comes in, or that list practice, writing down things that you are grateful for. And I mean, even if it's like a set of headphones or something, you know, it's just in my eye line, or kind of like a person, or like a plant or something, you know, something that you're grateful for, that you're glad that is in your life, you know. So yeah, I think social media has been a big one. You know, I think I've spoken about this in like other videos. Social media has been a big culprit in like this comparison lifestyle thing, and kind of comparing ourselves to people that have stuff that we think we want. But a lot of the time, the things that we think we want, and then when we get them, we're not really grateful for them, or we take them for granted and things. So yeah, try and avoid comparison. I can't remember what I've said in this video. One book that I'd probably recommend for people who are kind of on that self-betterment journey and just looking to improve themselves or their circumstances is oh god, what is the book? It's James Clear. Oh god, I can't remember the name. If anything, I'll drop it down below. And I can't think of it. But it's such a great book, and I mean there are practical like resources in there about like making a list of like little victories and celebrating those, because that's kind of like a motivator. I'm gonna wrap this up because I think I need a bath and then sleep. And then I've got to get my coach tomorrow, so that is it. If you found this video helpful, if you have something that you're kind of worried about, you need a little bit of a reflective thing, and if you're comfortable, you know, don't just put everything out. I do, because I've got no shame. But just drop a comment, you know. I'm very much here to kind of support as much as I can. You know, I have my off days where I need to withdraw and isolate, and I hate the world and everything else. I have my nihilistic days, and then I have my humanistic days. Feel free to drop a comment, and yeah, subscribe, guys, girls, non-binds, and I don't know. That's it, I think. Yeah. In the meantime, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind, and bye.